Hello and welcome back to Dented Dreams Garage. Today we got to start getting this Super T10 4-speed ready to go in the Monty. However, got a little bit of a problem. This is a 2-groove Super T10 of a 1975 Corvette. Came with the shifter, and we have a little bit of an issue with that, and that's this bracket here. Reason for that is that this bracket, to my understanding, since I've never had a 75 Corvette, mounts to the transmission cross member. A little bit of a problem, considering we want to put it right here. So, we've got a couple options. We can always switch to our swap meet HURST INDY shifter. Not necessarily a bad idea. Or we could go this route. We got a HURST Performance Shifter Installation Kit. I'll show you what's in that in a minute. I don't actually have it open yet. But that will hopefully let us get this bracket off of here. Utilize these 2 bolt holes. Get it actually put to the transmission. Then we can get our linkage set up. Hopefully make sure it all works. And go from there. So if you saw our last video, you saw us do a hydraulic clutch conversion on our 1970 Monte Carlo. This is our Super T10, again out of a 75 Corvette. This appears to be a 3-line or 3-groove. Not the most desirable Super T10, but certainly not the worst. This will still be the higher gears rather than the lower, which is actually supposedly a little bit stronger. Looks like it all just comes in a bag. There's actually instructions. And the best part of buying any automotive part, another sticker for the toolbox. My first HURST sticker. I'm gonna remember this forever. Ah! Well, I don't know if you ever looked at one of these instructions, but this ain't just a couple of bolts. There's a lot going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cart cleaned up, get all my crap off of it so that I don't mix everything up really badly, because I still have my Corvette linkage and all that stuff out here. So we'll be back as soon as I get done with that. Alright, let's get her opened up. Alright, so this is our bracket kit laid out. We got our hardware. No idea. Those hold the rods. Another bracket. Fairly straightforward, at least on the outside appearance. Our next step is going to be getting this bolt out and getting this bolt out. Let's do it. Brackets are off. We kept the entire shifter assembly together. This is where it starts to get a little bit worrisome because this got a lot more intimidating with this much stuff. So this is going to fit a Muncie or a T10. So not all of this, I'm not going to use all these parts, but it does mean that there is a lot of different configurations that it can be. Oh my gosh. Okay. So as you can see, there's a lot that comes in this kit. A lot. Navi? 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 Navi, what are you doing? What are you doing, little kitty? Nobs, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be outside. Ever. You're gonna get me in trouble. You wanna come in the garage, Nobs? Navi! I didn't like that cat anyway. Alright, so our first step to getting this mounted to the transmission. We're utilizing these 3 bolt holes, which are the only 3 on the back of your T10. It's going to be using this bolt hole here, this one here, and this one here. You'll be using these bolts with a lock washer, or what do we call those? Internal tooth lock washer. But the important one is a little bit different. It just has an extra washer with a lock washer. I know I have that backwards. That'll be the one that goes in this hole. Start with the top hole first. Before I get these tight, one thing that I should mention, this is an aluminum housing. These are steel bolts. You need to put anti-seize on them or you will have a serious problem in a few years. We're just going to use Permatex anti-seize. That's what I usually use for just about everything, so that'll work fine for what we're doing here. Now the reason we're doing the anti-seize, for those of you that don't know, is that steel and aluminum will react together over time. And when they do, they might as well weld each other together. That will cause a nightmare problem if you never need to change your transmission, especially with aluminum threads. Alright, here's a close-up of the bolt holes that we used. Now, our next step is going to be mounting the shifter. So we're going to take our large bolt with a lock washer, and a washer. That's going to go through here where it threads in. Now these bolts that come with the kit are 2 different sizes. You cannot mix them up. So that's the plus side. That bolt's going to go right here in our shifter. Straight through the middle here. Right here. Well, shoot. that could be a problem. Let's go ahead and check and see. That could be a problem. So on our HURST INDY shifter, we fit. Fits fine, the large bolt. But on our Corvette shifter, we do not fit. The small bolt will fit through perfectly fine. And in fact, the bolt that came out is comparable. About the same. This larger bolt that is 100% meant for this hole right here does not fit. So, I guess the debate, this shifter linkage should work for either one, but it means that we might be using this HURST INDY shifter that we got for 25 bucks at the swap meet. That could very well be our shifter for now. After looking at it a bit more, we are definitely going with this HURST shifter. I need a 5/8 socket. So it's not all that upsetting that I can't make that Corvette shifter work. There's probably a way to do it. I just haven't done it. So that's kind of what slows you down. What I'm really going to need to make that Corvette shifter is another bracket like this. Okay, and that's where that one's going to line up. And it appears that this gets one of these. Now I got this HURST INDY shifter from the junkyard. Or not the junkyard, this last swap meet I went to. And honestly, I'm kind of excited it's coming in handy. And it is sort of neat. So, I'll keep our Corvette shifter around. And perhaps someday we can make this work. But in the meantime, I'm not that upset. I still think this is a really neat shifter. And, you know, someday, hopefully we get a chance to use it. But clearly, it's going to need a little more research to get that one installed. Alright, so we're just going to do a really quick how to get this on here. We've got our shifter mounted. This thing's kind of, I mean, it came from a swap meet. I got to put holes in there. Regardless, if you get all your points on the handle for your shift linkage lined up with neutral, you will put this tab through there. Now those are in neutral. Check all your gears. I do believe that's neutral for reverse. Anyway, 3, 4, 1, 2, reverse. Starting with our reverse gear, we got our bushings. Normally you would have two. There'd be a bushing that goes in here and a bushing that goes at each one of your points here. This shifter doesn't take the bushing back here. So from the inside with your bushing, install here. So we'll do first and second gear next. Again, you need your bushing. We'll get that in. Be this side of that rod, and it goes right in there. Finally, third and fourth gear goes on the outside this time. So bushing on this side, inside, inside, outside. And this will hook the outside of the transmission as well. Now all of these are sliding in fairly well. My reverse gear is giving me just a little bit of trouble. I think I need to make one turn of adjustment, but other than that, we're pretty much ready to get these clips on. Now once our clips are on, we can remove this piece here. It's keeping everything in neutral, or locking the shifter in neutral. And we'll probably add some jam nuts on the end. But we're mostly done. These clips are a little bit of a pain. I'm actually not a fan of them. We got a reverse rod here. And I got a little. Now, when we got our little reverse rod, or tail light rod, whatever you want to call it, right here. So third, fourth gear, first, second gear, reverse. I think this is gonna be what turns on your reverse light. We still got our neutral holder in. Oh, so gosh darn it. They don't want to come out this time. Ah, there we go. So now that's out. Now I gotta get the shifter bolted on here. And I guess we'll see if she shifts. Third gear, fourth gear, back to neutral. We'll try to get first. That's a tricky one. Oh, nope, I went too far. I went to reverse. Neutral. First gear. Second gear. Third gear. Fourth gear. Neutral.